So my name's Amy. I work for MAC, obviously. I've worked for MAC for over 3 years now. I'm on their pro team, so I get sent to do kind of all of their fun A-list jobs, and I also work store-based as well in Covent Garden. Today we're going to be doing a beautiful masterclass for you guys. I've heard that you're kind of getting used to the whole masterclasses now. You've been to a few? Yeah? Cool. So yeah, we're going to do a beautiful kind of like pink. She's got this dress, by the way. Who was the dress? So the dress is lovely brought in. It's beautiful. It's gold and it's got a tiny bit of pink in it. So as a makeup artist, you kind of learn to catch on to things, especially when it comes to outfits and stuff. There's certain colours that you can learn to play with and you can pick from in the outfit that you can kind of use in the makeup to accentuate exactly what they're wearing and exaggerate what they're wearing and complement it at the same time. All right, so Susan's dishing out some water. Is everyone okay, first of all? Yeah? Please feel free to ask as many questions as you like. This is your masterclass. This is all for you. If at any point you can't see, I know obviously I will be standing mainly on this side, so if you at any point want to stand up and stand over there, that's absolutely fine. But yeah, everything cool? Oh, you also got your face charts, so you can write down all the products that I'm using. If there's specific ones that you really like, you can use that. Once I've finished using a product, I'm going to pass it round so you guys can start feeling the product and feel how the texture feels and stuff like that as well. Okay? So yeah, this is beautiful Ina. She's our model. We're going to start off, I don't know about you guys, but when I do such a full makeup, I love to start off with the eyes, because I feel like if you do no, that's fine. Can you see behind that? You sure? Okay. So yeah, I'm going to start off with the eyes because I feel like when you do such a full-on makeup, sometimes you do get quite a bit of fallout. And if you've done a beautiful, perfected skin and you get some fallout, you end up wiping it off, and yeah, it takes a bit longer. So yeah, we're going to start off with the eyes. So Ina's got absolutely stunning brows already. Everyone all right? Yeah? Cool. But if you have a question, put your hand up. Yeah? Okay. Everyone good? Cool. So Ina's got really beautiful brows. So sometimes with people, obviously if they haven't got as much brow, you can really kind of go in with a lot more product, possibly like a gel product. But when you've got a customer or a client, sorry, who has got a really beautiful full brow like Ina, a pencil will do the job just fine. If someone's got less brow, that's when you can really sculpt it and shape it, but concealer will do the most of it if someone's got quite a full-on brow. All right, so I'm going to start off. This is called Spiked Eyebrow Pencil. This is definitely our most sought-after pencil that we sell here at MAC. It's the easiest one to apply for makeup artists and for your customers as well. Yeah, it's just a great product. So I'm just going to start off with that on the edge of the brow. Okay, so I'm just going to do really small little strokes. So you can get quite a natural brow with this, but you can also get a really defined one, which is what I like about it. You don't have to carry 2 different products in your kit to create a sculpted brow. Just the one just does the both. So I'm just doing really small little kind of back and forth movements in the direction of her brow. So Ina's brow goes up at the front, and then as it gets to the arch, it starts going kind of a bit more diagonally down. So I'm going to follow that. Just like so. Does anyone use any of our products already? Anyone big MAC fans? Yeah? Yeah? Tell me some of the products that you like. Anyone? Blusher. Everything then, really. Wow. So some of you guys use our foundations, right? What foundations do you guys like to use? Liquid ones. Oh, like the Studio Fix. It's the best one. I'm going to use Studio Fix on Ina as well.
Yeah, today we are going to use Studio Fix for us.
So like I was saying, I'm just filling in those extra gaps in Ina's brow. So head up for me. The brushes are great. And the best thing about this one as well, it also has a bit of a brush on the end as well. So you can just brush your brows in the direction that you want them to keep them in place. Or if you put too much on and you want to sheer it out a little bit, like at the front, you tend to want to put a little less product than you do at the end. There's a button at the top and it's volume, you can turn it down. So yeah, at the front of the brow, that's where we want to keep it a little bit more natural, because that's where we can really kind of see if you've heavily overloaded product. Towards the edge and towards the arch, you can really kind of go in heavy with it. There should be a volume button on there.
Channel 5.
This one. There you go. And as well, with the pencil, don't feel like you have to have beautifully sculpted brows just with the pencil, because I'm going to use concealer now. Concealer is a lifesaver. It will just block out any of those excess hairs, sorry. If your model, you obviously have, but if any of your customers ever have like sparse brows and they haven't maybe waxed them or they haven't plucked them in a while and they have the extra ones, concealer will just really evenly smooth it over so you won't be able to see them, and it'll make them really kind of defined. All right, so we're going to do that bit next. Oh, I'm going to pass around spiked as well, so you can kind of play with it on your hand and just feel the texture of it a little. So really great pencil. So I'm going to use, yeah, you can take pictures if you guys want. On your, I've left basically my Instagram handle and the store's Instagram handle is on there. And obviously, I'm guessing you guys already know the makeup school that you were with, that Instagram handle. So you're more than welcome. You can pass the name round. And if you want to take any snaps or anything, you can tag us all in it. All right. Also, this is Alessio, by the way, guys. He's going to be kind of doing our Covent Garden Instagram. So you can take pictures. Don't be worried. So has anyone ever tried Pro Longwear Concealer in here? Yeah? So Pro Longwear Concealer is amazing, especially for this kind of makeup, if you want to create quite a heavy, full coverage makeup, yeah? So I'm going to use, what brush am I using? I'm using a 242 brush, which is amazing if you want to sculpt the brow, because it's literally got like a curved edge to it. So it does the sculpting for you already. It is the 242, yeah.
This one is magic brush, remember?
Magic brush, love that.
That's the name they will know.
So I'm starting off on her arch, the arch of the brow. 242, there you go. So I'm starting off on the arch, and I'm doing really, really small little strokes. Don't feel like you have to do the whole thing like in one go, because that's just unachievable, but just really, really small movements. Start on the arch, because again, you don't want to build up the product near the front of her brow, because that's actually where we want least of the product. And then you can just take it down towards the eyelid. And don't be afraid as well, just so you get a really sharp kind of brow at the end, don't be afraid to take the concealer a little bit further out than the brow, because when you blend in your foundation and your concealer underneath, it will really give like a nice chiseled kind of look, and it will blend out here, so don't worry about it if it does go a bit further down. I'm not really taking it onto the eyelid, because I'm actually going to use a separate product for the eyelid, because that's going to be where most of the eyeshadow is going to go. So I need something that's a little bit more durable for the eyeshadow. So what do you guys normally use the Pro Longwear for? Anyone got any tips and tricks?
What do you use for?
Anyone?
Anything else? This product.
Yeah. Under eye. Under eye's great. Does anyone use it for like highlighting as well? Send you this for you now? So same thing on the other brow, just really small little strokes.
No. They make space for you. I know you're just standing.
So for the eyelid, I'm going to use, it's not a concealer, it's like a cream eyeshadow. Again, I'll pass it around when I've finished using it, but the concealer's great for like coverage, but the paint pot is more of a matte finish and it just really kind of clings the eyeshadow to it. So it's going to keep it on longer, it's going to really bring out the pigment in it, and it's also going to stop those oils on your eyelids that you naturally kind of build up during the day. It's going to stop them from breaking down your makeup as quick. Exactly. Yeah. Stops creases, brings out the pigment more, and just stays matte really. I'm also going to put a little bit of concealer on the top of her brow as well, just to kind of give that a bit of definition. Guys, if you can't see over here, feel free to come and like stand over here while I'm doing this side of the face. Don't want to ruin her beautiful hair. And it's exactly the same thing on the top. So really, really small. You kind of have to get, I don't know if you noticed, but you kind of have to get in a bit of a weird angle to kind of get on top. So if you do it this way, I feel like you're a little bit confined. Whereas if I'm actually going over the top, I can, personally for me, I can just know I have a steadier hand because I can lean on her head. Whereas if I'm here, I just don't personally have the stability. But in this whole masterclass, whatever I'm saying, there is no right or wrong, okay? The main thing to remember about makeup is that it's not like learning English or learning maths at school. There's no handbook to it. I can give you tips and tricks, but at the end of the day, it's how you guys do it in your own way as well. So I'm just going to give you the way that I like to do it. Does anyone struggle with eyebrows? Anyone find it like a hard part to do with the face? No? You guys are all pros. Or are you shy? Just giving her brow a bit more definition there. I'm going to swap sides. Sorry, Jacqueline. So same thing, I'm going to start on the arch. And I'm just going to drag the product down. I just prefer it because I don't want loads of product to be here. I want that to be kind of where I want most of my product. So I start off here and then I can drag the product down and drag the product out. Does that make sense? Say that again, sorry? Yeah, exactly. So I'm not adding more product. I'm just, the product that I placed here, I'm just dragging it to the front of the brow and to the edge of the brow. And this, I'm not gonna lie guys, you don't wake up one morning and magically be able to have a really steady hand and be able to do beautifully carved brows. It's something that you have to practice. The more you practice, the better you get it. It's like anything in life. And don't worry too much about blending the edges yet because I am going to go on obviously with foundation. But just do it enough so when you do add the foundation, you know you're still going to get a nice, nicely joined together. All right. Sometimes, I'm not doing this to be in your way, but sometimes when you have a model or you have a client, sometimes the best way to look at symmetry is to actually look in front of them and get them to look at you. Because now actually when I look at Ina's brow, I can actually see that this one's a little bit bigger here and this one's a bit smaller. So I need to take this one in a bit. Yeah, but if I was side on, in this side and that side, I wouldn't know that. So sometimes as a makeup artist, you have to kind of step back a little bit, have a look from the front on and go, actually, I need to tweak that bit. Which is fine. You don't have to get it right in the first time all the time. Has everyone got a pen? Do you need a pen? Okay, yeah. Oh, eyebrow pencil. I did pass it around. Is everyone passing it around? So I don't know if you guys can see, but because I'm making it smaller at the start, I went on with more product, and there's a product build up here. Can you see that? So that's exactly why, naturally, when I first do it, I wouldn't want to put it straight there because you'll end up with loads of product there. Now I just need to obviously blend that out so I don't get that. Step over. Just taking a clean brush and just removing that excess. Some of the best advice I can give you in terms of eyebrows for clients is that everyone has a certain particular way that they like their eyebrows. Obviously for you guys, Jacqueline's given me an image that she wants me to recreate, but in terms of like when you guys are makeup artists and you're working, that's what I've definitely learned, is that everyone is very particular about how they like their eyebrows. So just asking, do you prefer them a little bit more natural? Do you like them fluffy and brushed up, or do you prefer them really defined? Some of them have images they'll probably give you, some of them will have no idea, and you might need to guide them a little bit, all right? But don't assume that So there was a bit of a gap in her eyebrow that I just wanted to fill in again. Ideally, you don't really want to do that because sometimes you get a bit of concealer on the brow. But if you do, you just brush it through. All right, has everyone seen the eyebrow pencil now? Does anyone else want to see it? You okay? Cool. So with the same brush, I'm going to take the paint pot that I was talking about. So it's called Soft Ochre, the one that I'm going to use. There's loads of different colours in it. Painterly is really popular, Soft Ochre is really popular, and there's one called Laying Low. There's no right or wrong and there's no better one. It's just your preference in colour. I particularly want to use Soft Ochre on Ina because she does have a little bit more of that yellowy kind of skin tone. I just feel like it blends a lot better. But there's no right or wrong with them. They're just like a nice cream eyeshadow. It has a tiny bit of a colour to it, so it will block out any discoloration on the eye as well. And it will just, like I said, really kind of stick the eyeshadow to it, so it will stay on super, super long. So I'll pass that round as well, so I've scraped mine out. And you guys can feel the texture on your hand. And with the same brush, so the 242, close your eyes for me, Ina. I'm just gonna pat that all over the eye. Someone's popular. Can you just see how that's like completely made it all like the same colour now? Giving a really nice coverage. And make sure you really get it near the lash line. Sometimes that can be a place that we forget to put product, but actually when you open your eye, that's the place that you see the first place you see is right near the lash line. Has anyone ever used a paint pot before? No?
No?
They're really, really popular. I'm surprised no one's used it. They're really popular, especially among like YouTubers and stuff. They love to use these. Don't worry too much about this kind of between the brow area, because when we apply the foundation and we do concealer under the eye and stuff, that's when we'll start to apply product there, so don't worry too much about that area. So now both eyes are obviously covered. You can see how, like I said, that's given a really nice base for us to just start applying our eyeshadows with. Yeah, the product is being passed around. No, it's fine. So everyone's just writing it down. But yeah, when you go downstairs, sorry, the other guys will show you the other ones, so you can have a little look and see about, like, Paint Lee's a bit more pink, Lay and Low's kind of like a pink, but it's a bit darker. But they're still all like skin tony kind of colours, but they're just a bit different. So depending on maybe what you want to use or what your client base is, you might differ it a little bit. But our guys will be able to help you downstairs in your choice of colours. Right, so now I'm going to go on to eyeshadow. So we recently brought out this new palette. It's called the Art Library palettes. Has anyone heard of these? Yeah? Yeah. These are really, really great. We've got 3 different colours. We've got like a nude set. This is like more of that reddy kind of warm tone. And then we have got like a bright coloured one as well. But they are really, really nice palettes. You've got a nice mixture of like mattes and you've got a nice mixture of shimmers in there as well. The colour one's amazing. Amazing. Right, just tilt your head back for me. So I'm going to start off with this kind of orangey colour here. Just like a pale orangey colour. Alright, everyone see that? And I've just got a 217 blending brush. I'm ever so lightly just going to go in the crease of her eye and do almost like windscreen wiper movements. $217, yeah. And this is going to be like the transition colour, because I'm going to use like burgundies and like pinks. So that's going to be the colour that kind of, if you're using especially like bright colours or darker colours, you do want a colour that's in between, that's not your skin colour, but not as dark or not as bright as what the eyeshadow is that you're using. You all familiar about like a transition shade, yeah? So I'm literally doing windscreen wiper motions in her crease area, yeah? And don't be afraid to go like near the brow as well. And also like towards the edge of the eye as well. So it's up to you. You can kind of, when you're doing eye shapes, you can either round it off. So if I was going to do like a round kind of makeup, I would round it like a curve towards the end. But if I wanted to make it more of a kind of feline fill out, then I would just drag the product outwards. What do you guys prefer? Do you prefer more rounded or like more out, more blown out? Yeah, depending on different eye shapes, you kind of have to adapt it for sure. If you know someone's got a really, really long eye and it's probably a little bit more small, because sometimes you tend to get that in customers, sorry, in clients. You don't really want to drag it out anymore. You probably want to round it off to make it a little bit more kind of inwards. But if you do have a person with a smaller eye, then yeah, you would drag it out to kind of make it look a lot bigger. Does that make sense? Did you guys learn about that in your makeup school? Yeah. I think that's one of the hardest things as a makeup artist, is adapting your makeup to different people. So I think it's really easy to do the same makeup on every single customer, every single client. But obviously that's not realistic. It's not one thing isn't going to look good on everyone. So it's about adapting it to make it look good on the person that you're sat next to. Ina has got beautiful eyelids and a nice shape. She's got great room there, so I'm not necessarily, I could do either on Ina and it would look great. So I'm doing the same thing on the other side. Just turn your head for me. Everyone see, yeah? So it's exactly the same movements that I was showing you, I'm just repeating it. I'd rather have too little on my brush than have too much. Because if you have too much, it's harder to take it away than it is to add a little bit more. The most beautiful makeups take like at least 2 hours. Like especially for this kind of makeup, the more layering you do, And the more time you take on it, the more beautiful it's going to look. Obviously, that's not realistic with every customer, but with this kind of full-on makeup look, you are going to have to allow yourself a little bit more time than you would for someone who maybe is going through more of a natural kind of finish. Right, so that's our transition shade. That's just all over in the crease. I haven't really touched the lid with that because that's going to be where all the burgundies and like the deeper colours are going to be. I'm now going to go in with, what brush is this? I'm so odd, they're rubbing off. 221. This is a great makeup brush. I could not do my job without this brush. 221. It's a really small, kind of like the one I use. So it's a blending brush, but it's a smaller one. So when you want to kind of really target an area with the colour and not have like a big blown out everywhere kind of look, it just helps you really kind of get in the corners that you need it to be in. I'm going to use the darker colour. I'm actually probably going to start to mix these two. I'll start off with this one, then I'll start to mix in a bit of the red in it as well to get that burgundy kind of tone. Just do your head up for me. I'm going to go the same place. I'm going to go the same place that I just was at, but I'm going to go a little bit lower now because I still want to see this beautiful orange colour, this paler orange colour. I still want to see that. I don't want to take away from it, but I just want to add some depth. And exactly the same tips apply. So I'm just dabbing the product and then I'm doing those wintry motions. And because I'm doing like a spotlight eye, I'm also going to start to add it on the edges of the eye as well. If you want to add colour, if you want to add on product, you pat the product. If you want to move the edges so that they blend into like a they seamlessly blend into your skin, then that's when you start to move the product. But if you want to add colour, that's when you want to pat. Does that make sense? And that's in anything. If you want to add pigment in your concealer, you pat. If you want to make it look a little bit more natural, then that's when you start to blend. Or if you don't want to see the edges around it, that's when you start to blend. Is there any questions so far? You're all very quiet.
Concentrating.
Yeah. I'm also going to put a tiny bit at the start as well. Again, because I'm doing a spotlight eye. If I was going to do a cut crease or if I was going to do a makeup where I wanted this bit to be bright, like the cut crease to be here, then I wouldn't put the darker colour at the start. But because I'm going to focus the bright colour in the middle, I'm going to put that little bit of that colour there. And don't worry if it kind of goes on the middle a bit, because we're going to use concealer. It's going to take that away. That's fine. And you'll find as well, if you just tilt your head back for me, if you get Ina to tilt, or your customer, your client, to tilt their head back, I feel like you can really get into the crease a bit more. You can really see where you're going with it. The further I get outwards, the lighter pressure I put on my brush. So when I'm here, I'm a little bit more firmer with it. But as I start to get out into the kind of the paler orange that I put at the start, I'm really like feathering it. I hardly touch it. Everyone okay? Yeah?
Why is this serious?
I know, everyone's so quiet. I don't think I've ever had anyone so quiet.
Oh.
I'll take it. That is absolutely fine. I'm just going to take the brush that I had before, and I've just realised because I'm standing this side, sometimes if you stand a certain way, you'll find that the other eye gets a bit neglected sometimes because you can't see it fully, especially because I'm trying to make you guys all see. So I've seen that I've actually not pulled that one out just as much as this one. I'm just going to go in with the lighter colour. And I just love this brush because you can really get right into that crease. And when I'm using the brush, I'm literally using it right on the edge of it, like not really like this. I want to use the tip of it.
You got colours in this so you can choose. Like soft, which Is the other one soft what?
That's soft ochre. The other one is painterly, and there's lay and
Painterly
low
is very famous.
as well. Yeah, all three of them I'd say are quite popular. But when you go downstairs, like I said, we'll all show you them so you can actually see them and see what one might be better for you.
I think I can see how to do.
Oh, have you? They're so great. A lot of people use them. Is there any questions on blending? Does anyone really struggle with blending?
Okay.
You okay? Yeah.
First word we learned in makeup
Was blending, yeah. And it takes a bit of time, like I said, to get a really perfected eye makeup. It does take a bit of time with the blending, which is fine.
I don't move on unless it's done blending.
Blending.
Yeah.
That's great. That's really great. I think it's the hardest thing to do in makeup. So if you can do blending, then that's a great start. Exactly. It's just practice. That's all it is. So I've got this orange kind of base now. I'm now going to start to add. I like to mix with two colours. I don't know if you've noticed. So yeah. Take as many as you want. Give it a little bit of an edge in rather than going straight in with the colour. So I was using this one. Now I'm going to start adding it into the red. Same brush. I'm going to pat the colour on the edges.
I've chosen some different makeup which I haven't done before. That's the reason I chose this one. Yeah, I haven't thought of this one. That's the reason I chose this one for you guys to learn from me. Yeah.
So you guys have all got the picture, yeah?
We have a
So if you look at the picture, if people ask you for pictures, they show you a picture of what they want, you really have to kind of learn to analyse it. So when you first look at the picture, I don't know if you've got it on your phones, it looks very pink. But actually when you look around the edges, it's very orange and it's very burgundy. So you have to learn to really look at a picture and say, right, what would I use, So I'm taking the darker colour now. Say that one more time. Same brush, I haven't changed. So it's that 221. Yep. Yes, that one. So can you see the burgundy around the edges?
send the picture again.
So I'm actually holding my brush a little bit further back now because I feel like I can get a little bit more control over it that way. And you want to blend even less here because if I start pushing that out, then the colour is really going to become ashy and it's going to really move. Whereas actually I want the darker part to be just in that area where I'm placing it. I don't really want it. The only point I might blend it is just around the edges so it blends into the orange. But apart from that, I'm not really dragging it or anything like that. I'm going to take it into the crease as well. No, I didn't. I tried to do the yellow one yesterday. I had like 20 minutes before we closed. And I was like, right, I'm going to try and do the yellow one. But I only did it on one eye. Yeah, no, it was great. The palette that I would have used for that, so this one, but the multicoloured one is actually out of stock though, so I was trying to So the same burgundy, I've taken it in the crease, and I'm now bringing it over into this kind of first part of the eye. Everyone see that? Yeah? So now I'm going to do the same on the other eye. So patting the product first. So when I want to add product, when I want to add pigment, I pat. And then obviously I don't want it to just be a blob. So that's when you start to just move the edges around a little bit. So it's a bit more seamless. And I'm mixing these two colours together, two reds. It's such a noisy street, isn't it? I just realised that. Has anyone ever been in this store before? You have? Yeah.
I think we go West Street more. Come back. You've been here.
Oh, okay.
This is my favorite place for makeup.
Is it?
I love it. I come for Bridal and
It's beautiful here.
I used to teach in London makeup school.
Oh, okay.
It's closed now.
Can you see how I'm holding the brush towards the end now? So when I was first doing the blending here, I was like with the lighter colour, this one, I was really quite heavy-handed with it because I just wanted to get it on because it's a lighter colour. You don't have to be as particular with it. But with the darker colours, you really want to get the most control out of the brush. You want to hold it quite towards the end. Exactly. And it's just, this kind of makeup is about using the same techniques, but it's just about building it. And just going back in until you're happy with it. Do you have a question? Someone have a question? Oh, thank you.
Already.
I'm gonna add, there's a like a plummy brown in this palette as well. So I'm gonna start to use that in the corner, just very ever so slightly. I don't want to darken it too much. Same thing on the edges and then just a tiny bit in the crease as well. Turn your head for me, you know? Everyone see that, yeah? So I've just placed it in the crease on the sides at the front. I'm not going to touch the bottom yet. But yeah, so that's kind of like our base colour. I am going to run just a little tiny bit of the transition colour. So with the fluffier brush, so this one is the 217 again. So I'm going to take the transition colour that we first applied. I'm just going to run that just over the edges. Just one more time. But I'm being a lot lighter with it than I originally was. When I was originally doing it, I was kind of getting the product on, whereas now I'm ever so lightly just going on the edges so you can still see it. You're aiming for like a really seamless transition between all of the colours. You shouldn't ever see like one colour, then another, then another. It should all blend quite seamlessly. You should see all of the colours at the same time. That's what you're aiming for. Sorry? That's the main technique. That's what you're aiming for, yeah. That's definitely what you're aiming for. I'm going to take a little bit underneath actually. I don't really have like a set thing that I do. Like sometimes I'll do the crease and then I'll do the under eye, and then sometimes I'll do the under eye, then the crease. I don't really have, there's not like a set way that you have to stick to. I just feel right now I want to kind of start to make it look a bit more completed. I'm going to take a pencil brush. This is a 219 brush. It's a brush 219, so it's literally like a little stub. You can use it for lips, and you can use it for eyes. It's really, really great. Actually, before I do that eyeliner, I'm going to take the transition colour. So I'm using the transition colour just quickly before. So this is with the 217 brush. Yeah. I'm going to use the pencil brush in a sec, sorry. Because I want the same effect underneath as I do on top, so I still want to see the paler orange, but I also still want to see the dark, so I'm just going to start off with that on the bottom. Get a beautiful little entertainment there. Look up to the ceiling for me. Wow. Just turn your head for me.
No, this is your only thing.
So I've just taken it quite far down. Don't be shy with it. You can bring it quite far down. If you go too far, we can just clean it up when we put our concealer on. I'm gonna use the red tone here, really close to her lash line. Look up to the ceiling.
So what goes up goes down.
Exactly, yeah.
We have certain sentences we need to use all the time. This is how they remember.
Ah, clever.
Magic brush.
And you want it to join. You want it to connect with the eyeshadow you've done on top. You don't ever want there to be a point where it kind of stops. It should all blend in together. How are we doing for time, guys? What's the time? Oh, it's fine. Two. Eyes always takes the longest for me. I know that in my own artistry, in my own personal, like where I'm at, I know I can bang out a skin quite easily. Not easily, but it's a lot easier for me than to do eyes. Eyes is always the thing that takes a little bit more time. I'm now taking the darker red, so this like burgundy colour right at the end. And I'm just focusing it right on the corner. Look up. And I'm just doing really small back and forth movements. Cool. I'm gonna pass this palette around. I'm gonna start to use the concealer. So I will grab this back, but just so you can start to have a little look at it for yourselves, I'm gonna start to put the concealer on so we can actually get like the crease. So I'm gonna take, this is kind of like a little bit of a concoction I like to make now. So for the crease part, I actually like to mix a bit of the Pro Longwear and I mix it in with the soft ochre. Just because I feel like it just gives a little bit of a thicker kind of base. So it really again, it's going to keep that eyeshadow on longer in the middle. And I feel like the Pro Longwear can sometimes be a bit too liquidy. So it just thickens the texture a little bit. But you can play around a bit. Not everyone does this. This is just my preference as well. And I think as well, like if you're going to be a makeup artist, you need to learn how to kind of entice people to want to come back to you. And I feel like a lot of that is you having your own little ways of doing things that other people possibly won't have. But you'll develop your own. So I've got quite a bit on my brush now, on the same brush. So this is the 242 brush. This is the one that I was using for the concealer on the brows, for the soft ochre on the lid. And it's great because it has, again, that curved kind of brush angle that we can just create the crease with. The Pro Longwear, so the one that we originally used on her brow, yeah? Just close your eye for me now. So I actually find this probably the hardest part of a cut crease, is finding the actual place to do a crease. So don't feel like you have to go on straight away. I always I start off just underneath the crease, because again, I'd rather go a little lower than I'm supposed to, then go a bit higher, because it's a lot more difficult to kind of rectify. And I don't know if you can see, but all I'm doing is patting the product down. And open your eye for me now. So I don't know if you can see, but that is actually pretty. I'm going to drag it down, but she has quite a big lid anyway, so that's pretty perfect. Just close your eye for me. And it doesn't transfer onto the top part of the eye either, so that means it's a good place to put it. If it starts to transfer, it's probably not the best place to put it. If someone has a smaller eye, if you just open your eye for me now. If Ina had like a smaller lid, I would take the crease a little bit further up so you could actually visibly see it when she opens her eyes. But again, you learn to adapt that as you kind of do makeup on different people. And the technique to get like a really sharp kind of crease is to just pat the product. You don't really want to drag it as much. I'm going to do the same on the other eye. Don't worry about blending it yet because I'm going to take another brush in a minute and we're going to blend that, so don't worry too much. Just do you have that for me? If anyone wants to come a bit closer and see how I'm actually like applying the product, feel free to as well. Does anyone else have any like tips and tricks that they like to do when they do a cut crease? And then I'll blend it and then I'll go on top with the eyeshadows that I want in the middle. Oh, you mean I do one eye then the other? I prefer to, because I feel like sometimes you can do one eye perfectly fine, and then because you've done all of the steps and then you've gone back onto the other eye, it's really hard to make it symmetrical.
No, I think you're talking about only when it comes to the concealer product, right? It will not get dry.
Yeah, yeah. Just under it, yeah. But that again, that will change depending on the size of the eye of the person that you're doing it on. Alright, so I haven't blended it yet, I've just put the product on and we're doing a spotlight eye, so that means that the middle is our focus. So I'm going to move back, I'm going to go to a flat brush actually. This is a 239 brush. It's literally just flat. It's kind of similar to the one we used for concealer, but it's a little bit more fluffy. I'm just going to use this. It's clean, so I'm going to use it to drag the concealer. Yeah, all of our brushes are synthetic. This one is... My memory's awful. So I'm just going on the edges and I'm just going back and forth, back and forth. This is just a clean brush, there's nothing on it, yep. I've gone a little bit too high with the concealer there, so I'm just going to take my 221 brush. Turn your head for me. Same on the other side, just dragging it out a little bit. If I was just going to use the soft ochre as my spotlight, that's when it might get a little bit too dry and I might put it on and then drag it. But because I use the concealer, it's made it a little bit more liquid based, so then you can actually wait, because if it's too liquidy then it transfers, but if it's too matte then you can't blend it. So that's why I like to mix it. Yeah. So just dragging it a little bit across. So if what happens here, I don't know if you can see, but mine's actually transferred a little bit at the top. So I'm going to show you how you can actually rectify that. So I've got a really small brush, this is a 210. I actually know the name of this brush. It's a 210. I'm going to take this brush and I'm going to use, have you got a palette, guys? Can I borrow it? You can have it back just a moment. Thank you. I'm going to take the darker colour, this burgundy. I'm just going to run it along where I've done the crease. Just above where I put the concealer. You can drink. You can drink. That's okay. So the same thing on the other side. Just take that really small brush. Oh, sorry. I'm using the darker burgundy one here. All right. Run the 221 brush just over the top of it. So now I can see the palette. Yeah. So because you wanted a pink eye in the picture, the only thing with that palette is we don't actually have a pink in it. So I've just taken a single pink eyeshadow that we have from downstairs. You can create your own palettes that we sell here. So you can actually make your own, like a 2-1, or you can make a full palette of your own. I'm just going to take a flat brush with a bit of passionate on it. And I'm just going to pat it on the side, not right at the edge, but just kind of not where the concealer is, not on the edge, but like that middle section there. And the same on the other side. And then I'm just dragging it out towards the darker colour on the edge. See that for me? Sorry? Oh, the yellowy one. I'm going to take the pencil brush that I was using earlier, but I'm going to take a clean one. I'm just going to blend it out a little bit so it's a bit less harsh. And what's the time, hon? Sorry? So this part actually looks a tiny bit messy, which is fine because we haven't added the final eyeshadow. The eyeshadow in the middle, that's what's really going to blend them all together. So I need to steal back the Art Library palette, if someone doesn't mind. I'm going to grab it, thank you. Kind of gold eyeshadow that's in the left-hand side, sorry. So that's what I'm going to use right at the top of the spotlight, yeah? Just close your eyes for me. I'm using the 228 brush. This is probably my favourite brush ever. Everyone's like, let me write that down. This is great for lips, and it's also great for something like this because it's got that rounded edge, but it's really small. So if you're trying to do details, again, with like a cupid's bow on a lip, or with a spotlight eye, or with a cut crease, it's perfect. It's got that round edge. You can also use it for like the carving of the brows. It's called a 228 brush. So I'm just patting this product in the middle. I'm going to dab it a little bit off of my hand. I'm going to start to push it out towards the pink so that it's not like a harsh line. Same on the other eye. You see how crisp that's made that line at the top? So good. Yeah, this has got the gold, like shimmery one on it. Yeah. So I've pushed it down like this. I'm using the edge of it to create the arch, and I'm just dragging it towards, so I'm pushing it out like this. Pushing it out towards the pink. All right. A little bit of a mess in terms of like where would you get messy? So I used the 210, didn't I? And I went on the top, and I just went over on the top with the darker colour. Did you remember that? With this brush. Where's it gone? With the really thin brush. Do you remember I went on top? Sorry? It's a 210 brush. So do you remember I said I went on top just to define that crease? It's an eyeliner brush, yeah. But it's really great to just define the crease a little bit more. All right? Yep. Thank you. So this is now a dazzle shadow. I'm nearly done with the eyes, guys, I promise. This is now a dazzle shadow. This is a liquid glitter. I'm going to put a tiny little bit of this on the spotlight. It is absolutely beautiful. You don't need anything else to go on top of it. The liquid on its own it helps it stick. Yeah. So it sticks on its own. It doesn't need anything else. And I'm going to focus it on that arch. That's where the main of it is. Yeah, you can, but this is like actual. There's got glitter in it. So if you want like a real glittery finish. Yeah.
You don't need second product.
All right, just open your eye for me. Just going to add a little bit of a darker colour in her waterline. Just look right up to the ceiling for me. So this is just a black eye pencil, yeah? Yeah. No, this is feline. Feline is like super, super black, and you can also smudge it towards like the edge if you want to make it like an eyeshadow as well. Sorry? Yep. Let me just finish it and then you can see it. For me. So it's transfer resistant, but you can smudge it. So like now I want to smudge it into the eyeshadow. So I'm smudging it a little bit down just so it blends and it's not like harsh. It's just in the waterline. Sometimes that can be a bit wishy-washy. I'm using the pencil brush to do that. But I don't want it too dark, so I'm not going to go all the way under. I just want it kind of at the edge. And you guys want to see the pencil, yeah? So that's called feline.
Why everything is it? You want to know?
Graph black is, it's better if you don't want to smudge it. So see how I've kind of used it as an eyeshadow? That's why I use feline. But if you want it to be like just in the waterline, then yeah, you would use graph black. Look down for me. So open your eye for me, honey, and look down to the floor. So when you curl lashes, get your customer to open their eyes and then look down to the floor. And then you want to pull the lid back and clamp the lash. And you just want to do like little pulse motions, kind of. She's got great curled lashes anyway, but just so you guys can see it. Yeah, they're already there. I'm just going to coat them with a bit of mascara. Does anyone else get this problem? Gets makeup all over them. Can't wear anything nice. Just look down to the floor for me. Perfect. So when I do mascara, I get my customer to look down to the floor. And exactly the same thing that I just did, I'm going to pull the eye back a tiny bit. And I'm really going to kind of, you okay? You okay? Mm-hmm. I'm going to really wriggle it right at the edges, because if you put more product towards the edge of the lash, it's going to weigh it down. Whereas if I put it towards the root, it will really lift them up. Okay, so you want to, this is called In Extreme Dimension. I can pass this down actually. This is called In Extreme Dimension 3D Black. So look down to the floor for me. So really, really wriggle at the root. Oh. Look down for me. And look right up to the ceiling for me. So I'm going to put the same thing on the bottom lash. I can't get over how your eyes are watering.
I had surgery, that's why.
Oh, Jesus.
I had
Need a tissue?
laser.
You okay?
Yeah, it's fine.
So for the bottom lash, I quite like to use mascaras that have like bristles around the edge. Then you can just kind of stroke them down. You okay?
Yeah.
Yeah? Ina's had laser eye surgery recently, so she's a little bit touchy on the eye. Cool. So that's just the mascara, and then we'll just pop the lash on top. The lashes that I'm going to use are number 70. They're actually recent lashes that we've only just brought out. They're really, really beautiful. They're black, they're really wispy. So yeah, they're gorgeous, aren't they? I already measured them to Ina's eye, but sometimes you will have to cut them. Like I'm having to cut this one again. This is my favourite glue. It's called Duo Glue. And it's super easy because it's got a little bristle on the end, so you can literally just paint it onto the lash. Ooh. It's my voice. And the trick with lashes is you want to wait for it to get really tacky, so that when you put it on, it just sticks automatically and it's not moving around or anything like that. Okay, so do you guys want? You guys can like stand a bit forward if you want to, if you can't see. So this is again just my way of doing it. This is not the right or wrong way. I like to pinch it from the middle. Again, I've waited for the glue to get really tacky so that when I stick it on, it will stick and it won't move around. Just tilt your head up for me, Ina. So I'm going to stick it in the middle first and wait for that to stick. And then I'm going to go on the edges and press them into the edges. And you want to push the lash right underneath the lid, like where the natural lash is coming from. Open your eye for me. And close your eye. And open your eye for me. You okay? Is it stuck? So yeah, I've placed it right underneath the lid, which is where the lash naturally comes from. If this is your eyelid, this is where your lash comes from. You want to place the lash right where your natural ones come from. If you put it on top, that's when you get like the false lash and then the natural lash, and that's when it's kind of hard to bind together. You can
It's like
also,
a shadow.
you okay?
I
I know they're quite full lashes. You can sometimes pinch them together as well, just to bind the two. If you put the lash too far that way, then yeah, we'll do that. But if you don't put the lash too far inwards, then it won't do that. So you don't want it to start, her natural lash doesn't go all the way from the start. It's got tiny wispy ones there, but we don't really want to go right from that part. Does that make sense?
What are
Can you
the
try
leaves?
for me?
Don't stop.
Sometimes you might have to just go back in with a bit of the glue at the start, just to pinch it in a bit, or at the end. Is that okay? Yeah? How beautiful do they look? They look so nice. Everyone see? Just close your eye for me. The same thing, I'm just going to measure them again, just to double check that they're the right size. And look at me. Open your eye. wait for it to get a little bit tacky.
For people this season, they didn't come.
So I like to wave it about a bit. Just close your eye for me. And open your eyes for me. Wow, they look so nice. I've actually never put these lashes on anyone before, so I was a bit dubious of how they were going to look, but they look amazing. They look great. They are number 70. Has anyone got the mascara? Can I just steal a bit? 70, 70. You don't have to do this, but I do like to take the mascara back in one more time just to bind the lashes with the natural lash. Can you look down for me? And look at me. Cool, so that's the eye makeup pretty much done. You can, if you want to as well, add sometimes like a little bit of a sparkle. If you open your eye for me, honey, just at the start, but you don't have to with a spotlight eye. Does anyone want to see that flat brush that I was just using? Yeah? Look up to the ceiling for me. So I already moisturised Ina's skin before the masterclass just to make sure that it was all prepped, but I highly recommend you guys just putting on a moisturiser before you apply your foundation. Hair products there. And to be fair, we've actually done pretty well. There's not really that much fallout under the eye.
Not at all.
So we're pretty good. I'm now going to go on with a primer. So this is called Skin Base Primer. Just take your head up for me. This primer is really great if you want like a super matte finish. Yeah, so there's one that's called Natural Radiance, and that one's like a glowy kind of skin. But I want to go for more of a matte finish, so I'm using the Skin Base one. Again, you can pass that round if you guys want.
You want to see this way?
And I'm just mainly putting it in the T-zone area. I don't really have to put it everywhere. Yes. I'm using a, mine is so old they're literally rubbing off. 168 brush. 168. So it's actually a powder brush, but I love to use it for foundation because it gives a super full coverage. Any skin, yeah. So it's more if you've got more of an oily skin. But if you've got a dry skin, as long as you're moisturising fully and you're making sure they're super hydrated underneath, you can still mattify in certain areas if they want to look more matte. That's a good question though. Right, you ready? So now I'm going to go on with Studio Fix Foundation. You guys are already fans of this. And I colour matched Ina earlier, so we're using NC20 as Ina's colour. I'm going straight on with it. To be fair, Ina hasn't really got that much discoloration. If someone had quite a lot of pigmentation, I absolutely would go in with like a colour corrector first. But because she hasn't, I'm just going straight on with it. No, I would use, like we have something called, depending on the skin tone, we have obviously different kind of products. So if it's like more of a deeper skin tone, we've got a product called Peach Luster, which is like a pen. NC20 Studio Fixes, yeah. It's a pen, it's called Peach Luster, and it's like a corally, orangey kind of colour corrector. great for like under eye circles or like if any pigmentations like around the mouth, which is quite common. And I'm patting the product on.
Just you were asking for.
Peach Luster, yeah, it is a great colour corrector. Though I wouldn't use it on Ina. It's more for like a deeper skin tone.
You can try peach. Peach corrector. It will work. The peach will work, I think. Just get it done, no?
If you, when we go downstairs and we start to, you want to purchase what you want to purchase, we can actually show you and maybe even apply it if you want to cover up something on yourself.
What do you use to cover on the veins?
What, on their face? Again, like from those bluey purpley tones, anything that's like a peachy kind of tone will definitely, yeah, same kind of thing. I'm just going to swap with you, Jacqueline, so you can go that. Do you want to go that side?
Yes.
Really?
You were saying that's an edited picture?
Sorry?
You were saying that that's an edited picture?
Yes.
Yes, but I was saying this is better than that.
Oh, wow. So the picture that you guys have probably seen it as well. I don't know if you noticed, but it's really, really edited.
The picture which I was saying.
Yeah. So it's
She was saying it's an edited picture. We will not be very close to this. You know, we can do similar. I said, no, you have done better job than that. Yeah. See, it's not only me.
Thank you. So this, for me, like this brush with Studio Fix is just the best, in my opinion. Just because it does give that full coverage, but it's really nice to blend with as well.
She's your photographer?
She's got my friends.
NC what? What did you use?
That's NC20.
Where is it? Has anybody got it or not? We have it. See, because it's a full coverage, you don't really need to stop it. She has some flaws.
Yeah, so really nice coverage. It's also a 24-hour wear Studio Fix, so it's really long wearing. No, but again, because I'm going for more of a matte finish, I'm going to use it after though, just to kind of give a tiny bit of a sheen, maybe like on the shoulders a bit nice as well. Yes. And with the foundation, you want to just keep blending it until you can't see any more strokes, until it blends really seamlessly, until there's no edges, and it should look really like a soft focus on the skin. You shouldn't be able to see too much texture. Alright, so that's the foundation. Does anyone want to see the brush? This was everything. I was going to pass them to you. And now I'm going to use a 224 brush. This is a really small eyeshadow. You can use it for eyeshadow, you can use it for concealer, for highlight. You can really multi-purpose use this. And I'm going to use the Pro Longwear Concealer. I'm just going to pat the product. So this is the concealer is a little bit lighter, so it will give like a brightened effect. This is just the Pro Longwear. So I'm just patting it under the eye. I haven't gone straight right up to the under eye. I've done it kind of a little bit, so there's a bit of a gap. So I'll blend it down into the Studio Fix first. And once I've got all the excess off my brush, that's when I'll blend it upwards. This is NC20 as well. But but the concealers come up a little bit lighter than the foundation. Yes, they're all synthetic. Yeah, they used to be real hair, but they're not anymore.
Human hairbrushes, they have stopped using it.
Can you turn your head for me?
So they all are synthetic. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's more to go with like the whole cruelty.
So they stopped using human hair.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, cruelty and
I don't know. Was there any specific reason why they changed to synthetic, guys? You know. No.
cruelty free or what?
Yeah, I'm guessing it kind of goes with that. Yeah, for sure. Yes, this is the exact same one.
Most of them, yeah. I'll show you why. What is the difference between
And I'm also going to use the concealer because it's a tiny bit lighter than her skin tone. I'm going to use it to highlight a little bit on her high points of the face. So just a little bit on her chin, a bit on her forehead, and a little bit on the nose. So to add coverage, you pat product. To blend it so you can't see the edges, you do back and forth motion. Make sense? Yeah? So add coverage, you pat the product. Yep, and then to blend it out so you can't see the edges, that's when you move it around. Okay, so that's with the concealer. Alright. If on the eye area you possibly maybe the one shape was a bit different to the other, or you went a bit further down or whatever, you can actually use concealer as long as it's not too dark of a product. Like if it was black, I'd say no because it will go grey. But for something like this where it's like a pale orange on the side, I would be able to clean it up quite easily with a bit of concealer if I did go a bit too far out or a bit too down or whatever. Okay. I'm going to go with the same brush, and I'm just going to set the under eye now. This is NC25 in Studio Fix powder. I've gone for one shade darker because I do feel like the Studio Fix come up a little bit lighter than they should in terms of the powder. So NC20 was her colour in Studio Fix liquid, and I'm using NC25 powder. With the same brush, so the 224. .224 with NC25 powder, and I'm just focusing it under the eye and a little bit down the nose as well, but like not on the nose, just down here. How much powder you use depends on how matte you're going. If you want a bit of a sheen to the skin, you might set the under eye, you might set kind of on the forehead, around the nose, but you might keep kind of the cheek areas a little bit less powdered so you have that bit of sheen. But you don't want to be sweaty, so you always want to do it kind of around the nose area, top lip. How are we doing on time back then? I've got dark mineralized powder now. I'm going to use that as a bit of a bronze. So when I bronze, I go from the top of the ear. I don't want to ruin this beautiful hair, but I go from the top of the ear, and if I was going to draw a line towards the mouth, that is going to be my template. Yeah, if you really struggle with that, that's a good way to think of it. 9 times out of 10 on your clients, you'll be able to see. For instance, on Ina, she's got beautiful cheekbones already, so you can kind of see where you should be dusting it anyway. But it will be from the top of the ear going down towards the mouth. That's kind of the direction that you want to go. Okay. Top of the ear, yeah. I'm just dragging the product down. And I'm using the 129 brush. pushing it back into the hairline so that there's no gap. And I'm also putting it a little bit under her jawline. And also on top of the forehead. And this is just because naturally our skin is not one colour. You tend to tan a little bit more on the forehead, you tend to tan a little bit more on the cheekbones, on the nose area even. So it just helps you look a little bit more, I don't want to say natural because it's not really a natural look, but it just gives a little bit more of the natural finish. So the brush number is 129. And you want to stop, if you look straight to the front, Ina, you want to stop kind of where her pupil starts. So where her pupil starts here, I don't really want to bring any more products forward. I don't know if you guys can see that. So where her pupil starts here, I don't want to bring any more products past that point. Yes, yes, exactly. I like just a little bit on the nose, just as like again, a bit of a tan. Sorry? This is kind of contour, kind of bronzer. Like with contouring, you would kind of use it as a shadow. But I feel like with this look, because she's got really warm colours on her eyes, I want to bronze it up. I want to give her a bit of a tan. So it's just giving a bit of colour to the cheeks, that's all. But you could go in with like a cool shade down here if you wanted to contour a little bit more. Sorry?
You want to baking and contouring?
I won't.
Baking and contouring, you won't do this.
Baking, you only really need to do baking if you're like, I don't know, like for instance drag queens use baking when they go on stage and they perform, or you know, something that you really want to have longevity with, that's when you would use baking. But I feel like because of Instagram now, everyone feels like they should bake, but it's not a technique that everyone should use. Just putting concealer on and a tiny bit of powder under the eye, that'll be enough for yourself, like that, you know. It's not for everyone, but absolutely, like, learn it, absolutely. But for this kind of look, I don't think you would need it. Yes, Instagram is great, but exactly. I'm going to use Melba blusher. It's a beautiful pinkish kind of light colour that I'm just going to add to the cheeks now. I'm going to add it not right on the apple, but kind of a bit further back, because I want to create quite a look. I don't want it to kind of round the face anymore, so I'm going to blow it backwards. Can everyone see that, yeah? And the same on the other side. So pushing it back into the cheekbone here. Anyone want to see the blusher? Yes? Okay, I'll give it to these guys first. And the contour. So this is the dark powder, yeah? So the 224 brush that I was using earlier for a concealer, I'm going to use that same brush, but I'm going to use it for the highlighter. This palette is beautiful. It's called Hyper Real palette. It's different colours. So this is one palette. There's a second palette which is really gold, and there's another palette which is more for like a deeper skin tone. I really particularly like this colour. That's why I chose it. And I was actually planning on using this colour on the Spotlight Eye, but I didn't need to because the palette had it. So you can use them as eyeshadows or as highlighters. And this is when I'm going to use a bit of Fix Plus. Has anyone ever done this trick? So you put your highlighter on your brush and you spritz it with a bit of Fix Plus, and it just gives it so much more of a glow. And the place where I'm going to put it is, if I was going to put like a finger width away from her eye, that's where I want to place it. And right where, in line with like the edge of her eye. Did everyone get that? Yeah? And kind of like with the transition colour that I was adding on top, I'm ever so lightly adding it. the same for the other eye. So I pat the product in first, and then I just really gently kind of buff it out a little. Can everyone see that on the cheek, yeah? I also love to put it on the Cupid's bow, just to add a little bit of a lift. Setting spray, yeah, so you can use it as a primer, you can use it as a finishing spray, you can use it with your powder products, like your shimmers, and it will just really bring out that glow in it. You can also do the same with your eyeshadows as well. The 224, the same one as I use this concealer. And if you put it above the brow, it just gives it quite a natural lift as well. Sorry? This one, yeah? Okay. As a makeup artist, you 1000% need this product. It's called Prep and Prime Lip. It's a lip primer you can put on before any lipstick. It keeps it on longer. It keeps the product staying the same texture, but it will condition your lips. So if you're wearing a matte lipstick, but you want to condition your lips, your lips are a bit dry, this will condition them, but it will keep the lipstick matte. Whereas if you're going to use like Vaseline or something, or lip balm, it's going to really condition your lips, but it's going to change the texture of your lipstick. Yeah, so this is going to really keep that texture. So yep, just straight onto the lip. Sorry, I've already cleaned everything, by the way. Obviously use hygiene when you are with your clients. I've pre-cleaned everything to save me some time. Sorry? No, so we dip it in alcohol here. So we dip, if you use anything, I don't know if you guys know about like sanitizing products and stuff for your kit. Yeah, so all of mine were already pre-sanitized, so I can go straight on with it. But with your customers, make sure that you're obviously, if you're using pencils or lip liners or lipsticks, dipping it in some alcohol, just wiping it off so that it's completely sanitized application, yeah? This lipstick is amazing. This is called A Friend Like Me. Yep, and it's from our Princess Jasmine Aladdin collection. It's absolutely beautiful. Most of it is sold out, but this is actually we still have some stock of this. It's a beautiful like pinky nude colour. I'm going to use lip liner, but I prefer to do it after. Again, there's no right or wrong. If you prefer to do it before, that's absolutely fine. I just think sometimes when you do it before, you're kind of doing a bit of a floating liner. Whereas now, at least if I've got a lipstick on, then it's got something to blend into. It's a beautiful colour, right? Nice. You want to see it? And I'm using a lip liner called Strip Down. Because sometimes when I use pink lipsticks, I want to neutralise it out a little bit, so it's not too pink. So Strip Down is probably my favourite liner for that. I'm going to start on the Cupid's bow. And almost like when you're a kid and you sketch and you really finely sketch the outline of it, I'm going to start off on the Cupid's bow and just sketch it downwards. Same with the other side. At the bottom. A trick, when you're doing like the edge of the lip, some people like to pull it down, but I actually prefer to push, if you just relax your lips for me, I like to push the lip up because you still get the same firmness. And it's just easier to apply the lip liner that way. And don't forget to go right towards the edge, yeah? Because I feel like that's quite a neglected area sometimes of the lip. Just right on the edge. Does anyone normally like clean up a little with concealer? Has anyone ever tried that? Tips is to take back that concealer brush. So this is the 242. I actually like to go back in with the foundation sometimes because the concealer tends to be a bit too light. And just give those edges a little bit of sharpness. Get up for me. I'm doing that really weird angle again. And to blend it out, I'm going back in with that 224. Yeah, this is foundation that I'm going in with.
So instead of concealer, she's using the foundation. Just to give it that soft and natural.
A good tip to see underneath, so when she was front on, it looked like her lip was great, but when you do that, you can really see if the lip line's not even. Perfect. And one last tip, I'm going to take the highlighter, use that favourite brush of mine, the 228, and I'm just going to give her a tiny bit of a brow highlight. Anyone got the Fix Plus? The spray? Thank you. Sometimes when you do the brow highlight like that, it might drop down onto the lash. So if you just get a bit of Fix Plus on a cotton bud, it will just wipe it away. Also, don't forget the body. If your client's got her shoulders out or her collarbones out, it's quite nice to put a tiny bit of highlighter on there as well. So put the Fix Plus on first. And I'm taking my foundation brush, the 168, and just dusting a tiny bit of that on her shoulders. How pretty is that, right? Yep, Fix Plus first as a base, otherwise it will go super powdery and it will kind of fall off really easy. Whereas if you use the Fix Plus and then that, it just helps it stay on a bit easier. So she's got jewellery on at the moment, but if she had no jewellery here, or you could see her collarbones a little bit more, I would also put a little bit on her collarbone too. Yep. What, like a black liner? I would say, sorry, just one more thing as well. Sometimes when you're doing the makeup, the lash can kind of come off a little bit. So just make sure that the lash is fully on before you let your customer or client walk away. The duo glue is the best glue in my opinion. It doesn't come off, but you just need to make sure before your customer leaves, or your client leaves, that is stuck on and they won't come off. Cool, so eyeliner, tricks for eyeliner, I would say, depends on the eye shape, completely depends on the eye shape. I like to kind of wing it out first, and then I'll draw a straight line from the middle of the wing. I'll draw a straight line to the middle of the eye, and then colour it in. That's my best technique, for sure. But maybe that's something in the masterclass that you can do next time, because obviously this look didn't actually have the liner on it. But yeah, if you want to come closer, you can come closer. You can take some pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I have the earring, please?
Do you want to see? You haven't even seen yourself yet, have you?